Welcome to the introduction of At the Table. Today we went live at 8 p.m. on IG. If you didn't catch it then, catch it here. Don't forget to like and subscribe for weekly vlogs. Links in the description. Roll clip. Hi, and welcome to the first edition of At the Table. You're probably wondering what this is all about, but I guess we're just gonna find out as we're going through it. Now, we all know, like, at the moment, everything that's happening in the world, like the pandemic, how it's affected all of us, and how we have had to change our lives to be able to be alive. And it'll be interesting to find out what everybody thinks about this and what difficulties they've faced and what they've learned through this. I personally have learned quite a few things, and I'm still learning as we're going on, especially without knowing when it will end or if it will end. So I'd like to hear any views from anybody who's out there who might actually have an insight or more of an insight, and who'd like to talk about the changes they've had to make in their lives and how long they think these changes, they can keep up with these changes, or if maybe it'll be a change forever. Me personally, I've been to quite a few shops, and it's been some of the visits have been okay. Some of them have been a bit alarming, and some have been pretty much horrific, and some have been. I see. How you doing, Mr. PJ? And one I might speak of was actually today. I walked into one shop. This is a big shop, one of the supermarkets we all go to every day, as we know. And everybody's supposed to be wearing masks. To my alarm, I saw, I think, probably 95% wearing masks. And whilst I was in there, as I said, to my alarm, I saw maybe five guys walking around with no mask. And what I heard from them was, like, basically them chatting about how everyone's wearing masks and they must be crazy. This thing is not real. What are your views when it comes to this? What are your views? Because, well, we all know this is real. People are basically very ill when it comes to these things, and people are passing away. And what does it take for people to be aware? And what do you think it will take for people to be aware of the situation and actually feel the scare? What does it take to change people? Or will people's views be the same always from the beginning, depending on their backgrounds or who they are or the influence? And the other thing I probably want to look at will be, how long will this last, this pandemic? How long do you think it will last? Do you think it's going to be, is it gone already? Or we're just phasing it out? Or we're just lying to ourselves? And if you think about it, well, my opinion really doesn't matter. Your opinion matters more, to be fair. But I will give you my opinion. I think we just don't know. And if there's something you don't know, everybody's always scared of it. It's either they will accept it and be scared of it, or they won't accept it at all because they're scared of it. And speaking of these face masks, I actually bought one online. the very first time the pandemic came out, because it was quite frightening for everybody, that change. I bought one online, and it came a little while later. Luckily, I had some to use whilst I was waiting, and this is what I got. I got one of these. I thought, oh, it looks like a mask. It helps. It looks like a seller. There's nothing else available. I got it. Well, it does its job. I wore it once. Well, a few times I've been wearing it. Gone into the shop, and people are looking at me like, what the hell? And these are the same people who are not even wearing masks. And I'm like, well, in my head, obviously, I'm thinking it's a pandemic out here. I mean, it's better to wear something than nothing, really, isn't it? And what do you think? Would you wear a mask like this and feel comfortable? Especially if it's one of the ones they recommended, the cloth and everything else. And would you feel offended when people look at you differently because of how it looks? Because when I wore it, I remember I was in the queue, and there was a lady, and she was about to walk in, but she just stopped still, and she was like, I think we'll go to the next shop. And I could hear this. I just thought, oh, fair play. And continue. But in my mind, I couldn't help but just laughing a bit to say, well, society has things set in a certain way, and they think in certain ways as well, which is a bit like, okay, so is it right to follow what society thinks? Or is it actually a good thing to just follow yourself as a person? Or does society actually contribute towards your actions and your decisions? I know the answer to that for me personally. So these are like some of the issues where we have us sitting at a table, just discussing them, and just finding out what we think about them. And there's never a better time to find out what people actually think or what they discuss about than when they're at the table. And hence, that's why we decided to start up this vlog. As you can see, at the table. Usually, I know most of us have had friends who sit and we have a drink, as we all do. It's a weekend, it's a Friday. So if any of you are drinking today or at home relaxing, obviously, keeping the distance, cheers to you. I would like to know what you discuss, what you talk about, funny things you talk about, the serious things you talk about, the worries you have that you may consider that, oh, you know what, I don't know, but I still don't know, even if we discuss it at our table. What do other people think? And this is what this is solely for. All sorts of discussions. Saying that, I just realized, I think just a couple of days ago, there was everything going on about Kanye West and how he is, losing it and almost has lost it, they would say, most people, or with their opinions. What are your takes on that? Kanye's obviously who's been seen making all these very strange decisions and going for them. He says it and he goes for it, and people tend to have their opinions, as you know, about it, and it affects a lot of people, and I'm sure it affects him as well, knowing all of these things. Knowing that Kanye has come out and he's actually by himself said he's bipolar. He's got an illness, and we know what the stigma is around mental illness and how to deal with it and what people think of when they hear the word mental illness. Of course, the stigma around men, you should never speak about it, especially if you're a person who people look up to, and it's just a no-no apparently. It's still right there in the closet. So if you're looking up to a figure, and your figure you look up to, or you like, whatever the case is, your influential figure, comes out and actually says, you know what, I got a problem. Does that make you think less of them? And if it does, why? Why does it make you think less of them? Everybody's got their own opinion. Is it wrong should a figure who everybody or almost a lot of people look up to not be honest? Is that a bad thing? Or is it actually a good thing in a way that helps a lot of people out there who are stopping themselves from doing quite a lot of things because they're worried about what people may think, and they would hide whatever it is that's going on? What is society's view on this? And then we've got Kim, obviously. There's certain things he said about their relationship. He brought certain things about the relationship, children and stuff like that, which people are a bit like, ooh, that's a no, it's gone too far and stuff like that. What are your views? What do you think? What would you have done if you were in that place? That's something that we all need to consider. What's going on? Have you ever had a discussion that was meaningful whilst you were drinking? Have you ever had a discussion that's meaningful, that has actually helped you in a sense, or helped you make certain decisions, or has society helped you make those decisions just because of their view? Because I was looking as well on Twitter, and I was noticing there was a trend today, well, quite a few trends. I'm sure a lot of people would know. Wiley was there. Wiley, that's a UK artist. He was there. He was, funny enough, he was going on about Jewish people, which that's something else, and to his own reasons why no one knows yet. But for anybody to come out and speak of certain things like that, is it because they really mean it? Because they've been so vocal and they know that they can be heard? Or is it because once they're heard, the eye is on them again? As you know what they say, any publicity is good publicity, whether it's good or whether it's bad. I'll be very interested to know what people actually think and where they think it will eventually go when it comes to these things. Can you speak about it? Can you actually come out and say, like, you know what, I can show who I am and my thoughts, and because my thoughts can make a difference and my thoughts can help other people make a difference, and actually be comfortable in that without being judged? Can you be who you are away from everybody, in front of everybody, pretty much? One of the other things as well, I was looking at, I think past week or past 2 weeks, it was the court case. Does anybody know about the court case that's happening at the moment? That's between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Have you heard? There's a lot of things there. Well, saying that, I was once sitting at the table with a few friends of mine, and one of them said, do you know that there's always something that's already there, which people believe, and they'll always follow a protocol. And i.e., which is, if you have a dispute with your partner or a female, and the first person who is supposed to be led away is the man in most cases. The reason why that is, I didn't know. I was like, I don't understand. But then I found out that, this is quite common everywhere. Everyone's like, oh yeah, I heard this. They had the same views. And I was like, oh, why? I don't really understand. And one guy said, they say that they usually remove a person who is more of a threat first. No matter what the situation is, whether you live there or you don't, you always have to move, and that's up. And I was like, okay, makes sense. I said, but I'm sure in all altercations, it's not just always the male who is actually the threat. But how do you figure that out? And how do you actually find out? Because we've heard over the times that there's been situations where, we've actually seen online videos where people are calling the police and they're saying, oh, this is what's happening, somebody else is recording them and noticing that, hang on, that's not actually what's happening. And we've seen how they act. And one guy at the table actually said, you know what, in life, there is a hierarchy of importance. And he said, number one, is females. Number two, or number one, between one of the two, I can't remember which one's first or which one's second, would be children. And I said, and what's number three? And he said, number three is dogs and cats. He got my attention. I'm like, dogs and cats are number three? I said, so where are men? And he said, well, men are like 4 or 5, I don't know, something like that. Males. I said, gosh, is that true? I mean, what are your views on that? What are your views? And again, I learned something from that. I was like, really? I was really intrigued. I was like, does that really happen? I started looking more into it and understanding. So anyway, we all know about the court case about Johnny Depp, how long it's been and everything. These are like figures of people we know, we watched on telly, I mean, everywhere, you know what I mean? Everyone's watched Pirates of the Caribbean and all that stuff. We love it as well. But what is the purpose sometimes of these situations, and what is the outcome, and why is everyone fascinated in them? Why are we all fascinated? Why does this ring a bell in our interest? It's like we want to know, like, what is it? Is it because we actually don't really do much when it comes to our own, or we don't take steps when it comes to our own situations, or showing our own selves, that we kind of take pride in watching others go through it, and we can then be like, oh, okay, I see. Almost like, if they can do it, I can do it. Not like, if I believe this is right and this is what I believe, I can speak about it and talk about it and not worry about being judged, because it's only what I think. I could be wrong, but we could always change it over again. It'll be interesting to see the whole outcome, because things come out, but you will never know the real truth in anything unless people are actually willing to speak and come out of the comfort zone, which I tend to think, well, there isn't really any comfort zone. If there is, a comfort zone is only for a certain period of time, and then anything after that is, well, it's another zone, whichever one you would like to call it. So we're going to have loads of discussions. I mean, we know we've got friends of ours who are artists. We've got friends of ours who are so talented, who have faced so many issues, who still are facing these issues. Maybe they're not really receiving the recognition or that breakthrough they think they can get. Or these are things that anybody can speak of. And sometimes certain people don't know who to speak to or just discuss it with. And we're saying therapy is not always with a person who's supposed to listen to you. Sometimes therapy is just you speaking out, or just speaking what you think, and that helps in so many ways. Speaking of therapy, have you ever suffered from any mental illness? And do you know what a mental illness is? It can be depression. That's a mental illness, which we all know a lot now. It could be any certain way you might feel. I mean, you know, when you feel sad, when you say, oh, I don't know, I just feel a bit sad. Is that a mental illness? Because you're feeling depressed. You can be feeling depressed for like 30 minutes, but you're feeling depressed. It's still the same thing. So would you class that as a mental illness? Just your views. We know like how medically they'll call it or how anything, but would you class yourself when you say, oh, I'm sad for whatever period of time, even if it's for an hour, would you think that is classified as, yeah, I had a little mental thing there going on, but what would you call it? And would you be comfortable actually saying it and accepting this? Would you think by doing that could actually as well be something that is mind-opening? I don't know. I'm actually thinking about it myself. Now, over to our football fans. Well. It's been a roller coaster of a season. We don't know who you support, but a lot of people out there are very happy, and a lot of people out there not so happy. What are your views when Liverpool took the title, and when they had to be put on hold for a bit? what are your views in the next couple of days? We'll give it a day or two. There's going to be at least 3 teams leaving the Premier, and it's going to be 2 games that are going to be very important. I understand. There's going to be a lot going on there. These are only just the topics which everyone knows about, but no one really explores fully into and can really hear. It's not really banter or anything along the lines of stuff like that. But when it's banter, you don't really get to the bottom of everything on like what what is it about that? What is your concern? What have you noticed? Maybe somebody else has noticed something there in all sorts of things. Maybe there's things that no one is talking about, but maybe there are other people who are actually talking about it at other tables. But maybe you are just not at that table. So you might miss that conversation that could help you understand a lot. And that is very beneficial in so many ways. If you think you've got what it takes to sit at the table and have a conversation and actually want to understand, we want to hear your feedback. We want to know what you think. Next week, we're going to be live again, same time, and we're going to have polls. We're going to see what you think. So feel free, anything at all, feel free. We don't judge. That's what it's about. You are supposed to talk freely, be yourself, always, which you know that's how it always works. Tell a friend and pass the message on. We would like to see you sitting at the table and want to hear what discussions you might have at the table. So let's see you there, and let's see what's going to happen and how nice it's going to be. What's up? Is it the landlord? Shit, the landlord's here. I haven't paid the rent. I've got so many drinks here. All right, tell a friend, see you next week. Make sure